The first part of this anime begins with a male junior high school student named Kosuke Ueki in the park. Not long after, a group of thugs said that they had a grudge against Ueki, which made them wanted by the police. They attacked him until a fight broke out. He could easily knock them out with just his broomstick. Shortly afterward, come the fourth thug, who instantly breaks his broom, but Ueki quickly turns the broom into a tree to attack him. Unexpectedly, the incident was seen by his female classmate, Aomori, where she thought Ueki was an alien. But their male homeroom teacher, named Kobayashi or Mr. K, came to tell if he was the one who had given Ueki that power earlier. During the confusion, Kobayashi invites Aomori to go to his office to tell her that he is one of the 100 candidates for the Heavenly King. So, the candidates had to choose a junior high school student to be given the power to become a fighter for the Heavenly King candidate. And these fighters will fight each other with other fighters. If the fighter wins, then the candidate will automatically be promoted to a Heavenly King. Kobayashi shared that he chose Ueki as his fighter 6 months ago, showing Ueki immense strength he could get. He practiced it in front of Ueki by destroying a tree. But Ueki instead asked him for the power to restore the tree back to how it was. From then on, Ueki chose the power to turn trash into trees. However, according to Kobayashi, that power was so weak, more like a bonus ability. Kobayashi tells Aomori that if the fighters use their power to attack ordinary humans, they will lose one of the talents in their life. Like Ueki, who attacked the thugs earlier, he lost his talent for being liked by women. If fighters continuously use their powers on ordinary humans and lose all their talents, then the fighters themselves will disappear. After that, Kobayashi chatted with the male Heavenly King candidate, Inumaru or Wonko. The two of them talked about the prizes for the fighters, which would be king if the candidates managed to win. Meanwhile, the fighters will be rewarded with empty talent, which means they can decide for themselves what talent they want. It is very dangerous if it falls into the hands of an evil fighter. The next day, Kobayashi returns to meet Aomori so she can warn Ueki that the battle between power users is about to start. She decides to help Ueki and take care of him so that he doesn't lose his talent again. In the air, the candidates were gathering on a flying bus to listen to the battle rules of the current Heavenly King. The king told them he would hold the first round to select the 25 strongest fighters from 100 participants. As for the fighters who lose, then they will lose their power. On the other hand, Ueki and Aomori meet a male fighter Maruo, who has the power to turn water into fire through his mouth. Mori led Ueki to run to the gym, and Maruo continued to follow them. Arriving at the gym, Maruo attacks again. Seeing that, Mori protects Ueki. She knows Maruo will not attack her, an ordinary human. However, he continues to attack Ueki, making him fall. When Maruo's water ran out, someone sent him a full water refrigerator so he could attack Ueki again. It turned out that the person who sent the water was one of the male Heavenly King candidates who had cheated on helping his fighter. When Maruo is about to attack Ueki, a male fighter named Sano Seiichiro appears and protects him. The candidate then took Sano's towel because she knew the towel could turn into iron. Ueki fell limp because he received too many attacks from Maruo, while Sano chose to protect Ueki using his body. When Maruo prepares to attack Sano, Ueki is lucky to still be able to pull out a large tree so that it hits Maruo's body heavily. After that, the candidate who cheated was punished and thrown into the underworld. Sano revealed his reasons for helping Ueki. He didn't want any bad guy to win over that empty talent. The next day at school, a male student named Adachi, who is a fighter, being scolded by his senior from the marathon club. His senior said he didn't deserve to be at their club because he didn't have the talent to run. Hearing his senior's words, Adachi was determined to win the empty talent so that he could run and win the marathon. The next day, Ueki and Adachi's school marathon club will practice together. Ueki has been known as a record breaker for running the 1,000 meters for junior high school students. While training, Adachi tries to get behind Ueki, giving the wrong route to an old temple so he can attack Ueki. After the two arrived at the shrine, Adachi attacked Ueki, causing a fight. At first, Ueki was cornered. Fortunately, he was able to turn things around and defeat Adachi. Knowing Adachi was cheating, his seniors came to the temple. He removed Adachi from the marathon members. Seeing Adachi cry, Ueki couldn't bear it. Then, he attacked Adachi's senior, who was just an ordinary human until Ueki's running talent disappeared. After that incident, he continued to practice running while relying only on effort. Seeing Ueki made Adachi motivated to keep practicing without expecting the power of talent. Not long after, Sano passed the field where Ueki was practicing. He wanted to say goodbye to Ueki because their family was moving to Osaka. After Sano left, a big male fighter came. He said he wanted to get an empty talent for stealing to become the world's greatest thief. Hearing the man's statement, Ueki beat him with a tree. In heaven, the Heavenly King received a report from his male assistant that the remaining fighters were 81 people. The king was asked to oversee the 5 strongest candidates, namely Ueki, Sano, Marilyn, Robert, and Liho. Hearing that, Mori looks increasingly worried about Ueki's condition because his talent is only 8. Arriving at class, she thinks about how to make Ueki not lose his talent again. Then there was an announcement from their classmates, who told them that Kobayashi was sick and couldn't teach today. She volunteered to visit Kobayashi with Ueki. Arriving at Kobayashi's house, Mori beat him and tied his body. She forces Kobayashi to reveal all of Ueki's talents. Soon afterward, she opened his computer and found a folder called The Law of Ueki, which contained all of Ueki's talents, including his lost talents. Strangely, the folder says that Ueki got 3 new talents. Kobayashi explains that fighters will get new talents if they beat other fighters. She thinks to get Ueki a new talent, he must always beat other fighters. Soon there was an earthquake. It turned out that Liho managed to find Ueki's whereabouts. Liho invited him to go to an empty place to fight. He preceded the fight by shooting dozens of spiky tree trunks, but Liho was able to destroy them with his bare hands. Liho explained that he relies more on physical strength from practicing rather than using his talent. Liho attacked Ueki. Fortunately, he made a rubber tree to ward off Liho's attack. Simultaneously, an old man named Ganji, a candidate for Liho, came. He praised Ueki for being able to survive Liho's attack. Ganji admitted that he had never seen Liho use his power. This was because Liho's adoptive father, who was famous as a martial arts expert, died from a deadly virus. It turned out that he really admired his father's talent and wanted to have the same talent as him. But many people think he will not be able to match his father because he is not his biological son. Since then, Liho has wanted to prove to everyone that their assumption is wrong, and he can become a great martial artist. Back in the fight, even though Liho had the upper hand, Ueki kept trying to attack him using his tree power. He managed to throw Liho's body so that his body was hit by a large rock. Seeing Ueki's great ability, Liho was even more serious about fighting him. He uses his butting ability, which can make rocks shatter using his head. Luckily, Ueki managed to stop him by holding both his shoulders simultaneously. After that, Liho admitted defeat and left him. Unbeknownst to them, it turned out that Kobayashi and Wanko were watching the two of them fight from the top of the building. Kobayashi praised the prowess of Liho, who is very strong, but Wanko said that currently, he only occupies the second position as the strongest fighter, while the first position is occupied by Robert. The next day, Ueki went out of town with Mori by train. Not long after, a man named BJ sat across from them, listening to hip-hop music. Ueki danced hip-hop in front of BJ and got a thumbs up for his good moves. They became close and danced together until they got off the train. Arriving at the city center, they separated because they had different goals. At the same time, Mori's glasses fell off, then she looked for them and separated from Ueki. Soon after, she accidentally saw BJ challenging another male fighter. Then, BJ used a sly way, claiming that he was Robert Hayden. That male fighter was scared and ran away from him. But before he could leave, BJ attacked and defeated him easily. Not long after, Ueki came to meet Mori. Suddenly, he fell and accidentally turned a cigarette into a long tree, which leads to where BJ is. Knowing Ueki is a fighter, BJ, who has the power to turn coins into the wind, invites him to fight. He claims to be Robert Hayden to Ueki, but it doesn't affect Ueki, who doesn't know Robert. Afterward, Ueki went back to dancing hip-hop, and without realizing it, he could dodge BJ's attack with that dance. After knowing that BJ had attacked him earlier, Ueki created 5 giant trees that fell from the sky to scare him. After that, Ueki left because he had to accompany Mori to her brother's house. After Ueki left, BJ was approached by a man who turned out to be Robert. He can easily beat BJ. As it turned out, Kobayashi followed Ueki wherever he went. That's why he could see Robert's strength when fighting BJ. The next day, Kobayashi goes to Ueki to tell him what he saw yesterday. He asks Ueki not to fight Robert, who has the strongest power. He informs that BJ was seriously injured after fighting Robert. Hearing that, Ueki even felt angry. Coincidentally, Robert sent a letter to Ueki asking him to fight. He accepted Robert's challenge and went to the place they had agreed on. Arriving there, Ueki, filled with anger, tries to attack Robert. Suddenly the tree he made became heavy because Robert made a pink bubble at the end of the tree. Then, he takes out another tree, and Robert makes another bubble. This time, it is blue, which makes the tree light. Robert arrogantly said he would beat Ueki the same way as BJ. He made a tree wrapped around Robert's hands and feet, but apparently, Robert was able to make bubbles from his mouth to release the coils. He makes a blue bubble to fly Ueki very high, then he bursts it so that Ueki falls from above. Kobayashi then comes to his aid at the risk of being punished in the underground world. Before Kobayashi left, he reminisced about the first time he met Ueki and told him about it. But according to Ueki, that was not the beginning of the meeting because they had met a year before. While playing on the top of the building, he slipped and fell. Kobayashi came to help him. Since then, he has wanted to be like Kobayashi, who can always help others. Not long after, Kobayashi entered the underworld. Robert feels very happy and plans to kill Ueki. However, suddenly, Kobayashi appears again and takes Robert to the underworld. The next day, word got out at school that Kobayashi had moved to teach at another school. Ueki felt very sad to hear this, but he was curious as to why Kobayashi risked himself for his sake. After school, Ueki visits Kobayashi's house to find out through his computer. After opening the folder, it turned out that it contained all the good that Ueki had ever done. Kobayashi was worried because many bad people were after him. He hoped that the good people would be the winners. From then on, Ueki was determined to become the champion and win the empty talent. This is the end of the first part of this anime. The next part will be in the next video.